Today I'm going to review my Nature's Head composting toilet and help you decide whether it's a good option for your off-grid living. This is Nature's Head composting toilet with close quarter spider handle design. Right off the bat, one of the biggest cons of this toilet is the price. It's listed for just over $1,000 and you can click the link above or the link in my description to check out its most recent price on Amazon. Yes, it is expensive, but for the water I save and how easy it is to dump my tanks now, as well as the very low maintenance I have for my black tank, it makes it well worth it for me. One question I've seen posed is, why would you change to a composting toilet when your RV comes with a perfectly fine waste solution? If you know me, you know I do a crazy amount of research. I have researched this lifestyle and watched a million YouTube videos for years and years and years. And one thing I kept seeing was people would have to return from a boondocking site because their black tanks were full, not because they were out of supplies or water. I wanted to avoid that because I have a 78-gallon fresh water tank on this RV. I've easily been able to go over 2 weeks without running out of fresh water. But I honestly don't know if I would have been able to last that long had I been using a normal RV toilet. For those who don't know how a composting toilet works, let me explain. Inside the bowl of the toilet, there are 3 holes for your liquid waste to drain. When you buy the toilet, there's a bucket that attaches to the front. I did a modification that I will discuss later. When you need to go number 2, you open the trap door and solids fall down into the composting material. All it looks like is dirt in here, but I'm throwing up a poop emoji just in case. After you've gone number 2, you close the chamber door and turn the agitator 2 to 3 times. The toilet dries your solid waste by having a fan bring in air from one side and push it out a vent hose to the outside of the RV. This does require cutting a hole in your RV, but it pushes any stinky air out there. You can throw all toilet paper into the main chamber if you prefer. However, I only choose to do that after I've gone number 2. Now for toilet paper after I pee, I have a small little trash can that I throw the toilet paper into and throw that in a dumpster. That just helps me save more space in the chamber. This may be overboard, but to prevent any liquids from getting into the solids chamber, I will sit on the toilet, I'll pee first, then I open up the chamber door and I drop the kids off at the pool. Park. Dirt pile? I don't know. Then I close the chamber door, use my bidet, wipe, open the chamber door, throw the toilet paper down the main chamber, close the chamber door, and finish cleaning up. I'm not going to lie. There are going to be times when you are going to have to clean the toilet after you use it. Nature's Head suggests a mixture of vinegar and water in a spray bottle to clean up between uses to keep the bowl fresh. Anything that has stuck to the toilet, whether that be solids or a woman on her period, will need to be cleaned up with that vinegar spray and a paper towel with no synthetics. There is one spot inside the chamber that I find gets dirty. It's a small little lip right at the front of the chamber door that you only see when the chamber door is open. I will have solids catch or hit that little lip on their way into the bin, and that can get dirty. However, I do not clean that lip until I am changing / emptying the toilet out. I don't clean that part at any other time because while yes, a small amount of water in the chamber is okay, any excessive amounts of water in the chamber is not good for the breakdown process. So you want to do your best to keep water out of the chamber. The composting material inside needs to be damp, not wet. Any excess water will contribute to smell and reduced breakdown of the waste inside. Nature's Head says the occasional bout of diarrhea is okay for the chamber and the composting material should be able to handle it, but any excessive amounts of diarrhea would be bad for the breakdown process of the other solid waste. Now, for those who are wondering what is in the chamber, besides of course solid waste, you have a composting material in there. You have 2 options. You have peat moss or coconut coir. I got very, very lucky with my toilet and I bought it off Facebook Marketplace. A guy had it barely used or even not used at all, and he just decided it wasn't right for his project. I think he was building a tiny house, decided it wasn't right, listed it for sale. I got it for a couple $100 off. And he sold me his giant brick of coconut coir. Coconut coir is the more expensive of the two options. I've also got those linked so you can see the prices of those two composting materials. When it's time to dump and replace the composting material in the toilet, I use a brick about this big of the coconut coir and rehydrate it and put it in the base of the toilet. So you do your business, you go number 2, it falls into the chamber on top of the composting material. You turn the agitator bar, which stirs it all together, and that composting material helps break down your solid waste. The most asked question when it comes to composting toilets is, does it smell? And the answer is no. I don't have the urine bucket on my toilet, but people who do have it have noted that you can smell the urine, but only when the lid is up. As soon as the lid is down, that traps any smell from the urine from coming up and out. I have zero smell from the main chamber. The venting system works great, and honestly, I've never even been able to smell anything on the outside of the vent, but I'm also not sticking my nose in it. The only time I have ever smelled anything from this toilet is when I have left the exhaust fan above my shower on for too long after taking a shower. There was 1 or 2 times where I just left the fan on a little too long after that shower. So once there wasn't excess moisture in the air, it was trying to pull anything it possibly could, and it was starting to pull the smell from the vent on the side up and out of the toilet. It didn't smell bad, but it did have this earthy dirt smell to it. So now I just make sure to turn the fan off as soon as I'm done taking a shower, and I've never had it happen again. Now I want to walk you through 2 modifications I did in and around this toilet. First is the urine diverter. I did not want to deal with removing the urine bucket and dumping it, so I chose to modify the toilet and connect it to the black tank. My dad was a major help on this project. We got some tubings and elbows from the hardware store. We plugged the drop to the black tank with a custom-made seal that my dad made. We cut a hole in the center and put the tube down the hole. In other videos of this modification, other people have made their own urine diverter. However, Nature's Head now sells a urine diverter on their website, and I highly recommend going with theirs. It's not expensive, and you know that it fits, and you're not messing with random materials from the hardware store. The only downside of this modification was it made the toilet a little unsteady. We had to put the toilet on a base so that the tubing could run under and into the black tank below it. So the combination of not having the spot for the bucket up front and lifting it up off its base made it tip towards the front when you sat on it. The fix for this was really simple. We just cut a wood board that would fit between the floor and the lip of the toilet, and now it doesn't move. Sometimes I have to shove it back in place after driving, but most times it stays exactly where it is. The second modification that we made that I will never shut up about is the bidet. Most of the videos that I watched of people doing the installation of the toilet in their RV would cap off the water line that would go to the normal RV toilet, which makes sense because why would you need water? This toilet requires 0 water to function. However, I saw one guy add a bidet to the water line. And me being a lover of bidets and having one before I moved into an RV, I knew I absolutely had to do that. I bought this bidet off Amazon, which I will link in the description below. It just needed one adapter to hook up to the water line, but once we had that adapter, it was easy peasy. Both the adapter and the bidet were not expensive. If anything sticks to the base, all I do is spray it with the vinegar mix and then rinse it down with the bidet. And then the mess is gone and I don't have to wipe it up with paper towel and throw it away. There are 2 ways to know when the chamber needs to be emptied. The first is simply by opening the chamber door, looking inside, and seeing how full the chamber is. The other way to know is when the agitator starts to get hard to turn, it's probably time to change. I am able to go about 2 months without having to empty the chamber. And that is with me using this toilet just about every time I have to go number 2. I cannot overstate how much I dislike going number 2 without a bidet. So I prefer using my toilet over a public toilet. Also, it's always just nicer to use your own bathroom. Another question I see posed a lot is about toilet paper and what kind of toilet paper you can use. Nature's Head says that you can use any toilet paper that you want, but does mention that RV and septic tank friendly toilet paper will break down faster in the main chamber than normal toilet paper. I use normal toilet paper, and because I use this, not enough time has passed for the toilet paper to break down by the time I need to change my toilet. So when I dump my toilet, I will see all the toilet paper in my main chamber just chilling out. The biggest downside I have found about using normal toilet paper is that the toilet paper will wrap itself around the agitator. That means when I go to dump what's in the main chamber, I am having to physically pull that toilet paper off the agitator. Granted, I do it with gloved hands, but I'm wondering if that is contributing to the agitator getting harder to turn before I visually inspect the chamber getting full. I'm going to be trying some other types of toilet paper. I'm thinking bamboo or RV specific toilet paper, and I want to see if the issue will persist. But if you think you have an idea of a type of toilet paper that would work for me, let me know in the comments. To me, there aren't all that many cons to this toilet. I already mentioned the price being a big con. However, the other biggest one to me is the learning curve. I'm not gonna lie to you, there is a learning curve when you first use this toilet. And that means misses will happen. What I mean by that is you will need to learn where to position yourself on this toilet so your solids fall directly down into the main chamber. I have sat too far back, I have sat too far forward, thus the solids miss the chamber and I will have to clean it up and push it into the chamber myself. Over time though, I promise it will become more natural and you will just sit down on it like a normal toilet, do your business, and there will be no cleanup involved. Another con that I've encountered that I haven't seen anybody discuss, and maybe it's due to me during doing the urine diverter, is those holes for the urine diverter, especially up front, they are big enough that if you were to have a small enough solid waste and be positioned wrong on the toilet, it can, and for me, it did, go down and get itself stuck in the urine diverter. Unfortunately for me, how I knew that had happened was the liquids were not draining. Cleanup was not fun. Like I said before, misses happen, and this was just a very unfortunate miss for me that ended up in the absolute wrong place. I mean, like, what a shot, but also what a shot to have to clean up. I can't say enough how much I love this toilet with the combination of a bidet. If you are going to do this modification, you have to do the bidet, if only for cleanup alone. Because of this toilet, I have never once come close to hitting the limit of my black tank. I have read many stories online of people's dump experience going horribly wrong due to the black tank. I have also read about poop pyramids in black tanks, and I am just so happy that I do not have to deal with either of those. Yes, this requires a little bit extra effort above and beyond a normal RV toilet when it comes time to empty the chamber, but emptying it turned out to be a much easier process than I thought it was going to be. But thank you so much for watching. I hope I made this water saving and tank space saving option more appealing to you. Let me know in the comments if there's anything specific that I didn't talk about that you have a question or you want a topic expanded on. Until then, I'll see you in the next video. Would you recommend the toilet, JoJo? That's a true question. What do you think about this toilet? She's biting and licking. I think that's a good sign. No comment, no comment.